Hey, everybody. Welcome to Perpetual Motion, a program about current trends, communication, wellness, and relationships. I'm the host, Dr. Mo Anderson, and my goal is to help you stress less, produce more, and love the ones you're with. Today, our guest is Armando Rayo, aka Mando. He's a cultural historian, author, and taco journalist whose work has been featured in the New York Times, Bon Appetit, NPR, Texas Monthly, and the Food Network. Yes, now you know he's a boss, but not the evil kind who makes you dream of ways to fake your death. He's the kind of leader you want to work with and for. So stay tuned. My man Mando is coming to the stage.
You can't say Dr. Mo ain't tell ya. Yeah, man, despise the consequences of failure. What are you afraid? Why are you afraid? I'd rather live like I'm dying than live to die. Any day, my heart is pure.
Thank you for joining, Mando, and welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dr. Mo. It's a pleasure to be here with you. You know, I've been such a big fan for many, many years.
Oh, thank you for saying that. We do have a relationship that goes back several years, back to my days in Austin, Texas. And I miss seeing you, man, in person, but I have been following you all these years and am so proud of you. When we met, you were an engagement strategist and CEO of the Mando Rayo Collective, a multicultural digital agency based in Austin. Now, man, you are nationally known as a taco journalist. Yes, that's a thing. Best-selling. That's a thing. I love it. The things I didn't know when I was deciding on careers. Best-selling author of now 3 books, podcast host, and producer of an online docuseries, The Tacos of Texas. And there's more, y'all. But let's start with the thing everyone is now wondering. When do you sleep, Mando?
Oh, man. Yeah, I guess, as they say, I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Right.
No, I do get my power sleeps on. I do have some late nights and I wake up early, but I definitely, I'm a big fan of weekend naps.
I hear you.
So, and I'm just like, don't bother me. It's like nap time. And that's where I get like regenerated.
Fantastic. I understand that candle can burn at both ends and make a lovely light at times. And I do appreciate the grind, and you clearly have a love story with tacos. That's the big thing that's fascinating with me. But in your work, you braid community, culture, and diversity around stories about unique recipes. I think, your approach to culture and diversity is very, very inspiring. Big picture, what is your message for America, for the world?
That America, it's when you look at it, you want to see yourself represented. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, like that line that says, this land was made for you and me. Mm-hmm. It is for everyone and for all. And so my goal is to, I guess my message to America is to be curious. If look around you, if people in your social circles, in your family circles, in your business circles, if they all look the same, maybe it's time to kind of spark that curiosity and look into other cultures and look into other people, people that are like you or maybe different from you. Go to a different neighborhood, try a different type of food, try a new taco.
Right. Well said.
Yeah. And, the thing is, culture is kind of the common thread that we all have, whether you're Black, Latinx, white, Asian, we all have our culture, our traditions, our heritage. And I think the more that we share, the more that we'll understand each other.
I agree. Diversity does not mean adversity, and different doesn't mean bad. I love the way you put that. So I'm assuming a lot of this love for people and culture came from your childhood. Well, since you're the taco journalist, I'm wondering what was mealtime like with your family as a child? Where did you grow up?
Yeah, I grew up in West Texas in El Paso. And so, I mean, the thing is, if you grew up along the border, you're, whether you're speaking Spanish or going, to Mexico just on the daily. For us, we had the Texas thing, we had the Mexican thing, and as well as we had the New Mexican thing. So those are different, ingredients that they use, different flavors, and when you kind of mix all that, that's like, a great
like
recipe.
Yeah.
It is. So I guess like I definitely grew up with a tortilla in my hand for sure.
Tortilla in my hand. All right, that'll work.
Yeah, and I was raised like I was raised cooking. Right. Mm-hmm. And I'm a home cook. I'm the cook at the house, at my house, for my kids and my family. If there's like any grilling or any outdoor backyard type of creation, I'm probably the one doing it. And so that's what I grew up with, being around the kitchen, whether it's making carnitas outdoors with my uncles or discada, or inside learning how to make a good salsa. And really it's kind of those things that you share and how you really kind of connect culturally to your family members, through that food. Absolutely. So yeah, and then my mom worked, some, and so we would always have to be like, okay, we gotta cook our dinner, and what does that look like? And yeah, you just kind of play around with it, and it's just like one of those things that it kind of came natural to me, and I enjoy cooking. I enjoy trying new things, trying new recipes, whether it's like whether it's traditional Mexican food or Asian or what have you. Spaghetti night, kids love spaghetti night.
And you're right, that is a good time for bonding. I think it's great now that so many more men are in the kitchen, have chef programs. And because when I was growing up, my dad grilled some of the dads grilled some, but you just didn't see a lot of dads cooking. And cooking with my mom, spending that time in the kitchen, like you said, I mean, we're telling stories, we're laughing, it's just really, really good. So I'm happy to hear you share that was a crucial part of your development and love of good food. And you're right, Tex-Mex, I think I was eating Taco Bell in high school and thought I was really eating something, man. And,
hey, you know what? We've all done it. We've all done it. It's all good.
Yeah, no shade on Taco Bell, but when I got with some friends and had some real actual Mexican food, oh my God, it was life-changing. It was life-changing. Not the version I was getting that probably was okay for my palate, but man. So what were some of your favorite dishes when you were a kid? You mentioned you had the tortillas and carnitas.
Yeah. Well, one of the simplest like breakfast dishes that we grew up with, which is kind of funny because I cooked it at home. We would always cook it at home. And we didn't know that it actually had a name until I moved to Austin, and it's called migas.
Migas, I love migas.
I know, right? So like we grew up just like making, frying the tortillas into little pieces, and then cooking it with eggs, adding jalapenos, onions, and tomatoes, and a little bit of cheese, and that's it. It's done. And we didn't call it migas. We just called it like tortillas con huevo, and it's like
tortillas with eggs, that's what it is.
I know. And I come to Austin and it was like, oh, that looks like what we grew up with, and it has a name. Awesome.
There you go. So many things like that we just kind of ease into and enjoy them nevertheless, whether we know the name or not. That's funny. So now you're an adult with a family of your own. I think you have 2 kids.
Yeah, 2 kids. I have two kids. One Chiweenie. She's a yapper.
You got a fur baby.
I have 10 chickens and 2 roosters.
Oh, wow. Is there a partridge in a pear tree?
I know, right?
You
Yeah,
got a lot going
definitely.
on.
Yeah.
Well, what is your approach to mealtime with your family? Are you cooking together? Do you eat together? What are the rules of your house?
Yeah, it's funny because we do make it a point for all of us to eat together. It's a time where we kind of can get together and just talk, about like, hey, what's going on? What are you into these days? And I do try to teach my kids, how to make, certain foods, the easy foods. My 11-year-old can make, buttered popcorn on a pot, not on a microwave, but
Okay.
on an open flame, not a
Old
jiffy pop
school.
either. Old school. You put it in the pan, you cover the butter, and you shake it like manually. And so I do try to have them, just to explore and find ways to cook. But I think our mealtime, like pretty much almost every day for dinner, is our kind of everybody, let's come together, let's eat, let's talk. And I'm not as strict about it as that, but my wife is. So it allows us to kind of really kind of, just connect in a
Yes.
different way with the food. You know what I
Right.
mean?
I do.
Yeah.
The eye contact, you're in a small space, because some people feel like, we're all in the same house. The kids are in their big room, somebody's in the yard, everybody's looking at a phone, but you're not really making meaningful connections or memories doing that. I don't think anybody's going to be in their last days thinking about all those great times dad was looking down at his cell phone, So,
yeah, right. Yeah. We do have a rule, no technology during dinner time.
Yeah, same with me. And my kids are adults, grandkids. It's like, shut it off, just disconnect for a minute and connect with one another. And it makes a difference. Now we're a taco journalist.
Yeah.
This title, this tour, this empire you're building, as I recall, began with a tour of taco joints and dives. What prompted that? Just Taco Tuesday, or how did that happen?
I know, right? No, the thing is I'm a home cook. So I'm always like a good, like I have a good telltale sign for different, whether it's a taco truck or a restaurant, of like which places are good. And so people would always ask me, hey, where can I get some good, Mexican food, some good, like tacos and whatnot. And it's just like such a simple way to just, have your favorite, whether it's a protein or even veggies, and just with a flour corn tortilla and some good salsa, that's pretty much all you need. So part of what people would often ask me, like, where to go, and I always had like Taco Radar. And so then a friend of mine actually asked me to write up like some of my favorite places here in town. Then it got published, and I speak, when I speak, it's English, it's sometimes Spanish, definitely Spanglish,
right.
And and so it just kind of took off like that, and then with a buddy of mine, we wrote Taco Journalism, the blog. And basically I was like, all right, well, let's clue in people of like where the great spots are, but let's dig a little bit deeper. Let's get to know them. Why are they doing it? Where do the recipes come from? What's the lineage? And really highlight the small business. Because like when you think about Austin, there's always like the mentions of the big ones, the chains, and all that. And we wanted to shed the light on, the mom and pop shops, the immigrant run taco shops, where to be honest, white people may be, afraid to go to, because of certain parts of town have, a certain perception it's a bad part of town or whatnot. But it's not, that's not true,
No, it's not. And I think sometimes too, people think, it's not going to be as clean. Are they getting their health injections? But some of the dives I go to are way cleaner than any big chain. Way more conscientious and clean. It's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what sets us apart as far as like me being a taco journalist is we try to go in deeper. You do start with the food, right?
Right.
I always say that we use tacos as a Trojan horse
Mm-hmm.
to understanding community, people, and issues. And so we start with the tacos. Or what is it? Okay, let's start with tacos al pastor or amigas taco or what have you. But then let's really understand like what's going on in that neighborhood. Maybe we need to put a spotlight on it so people can understand what's going on in that neighborhood and support, those small businesses. And
that's so interesting. Wow.
Yeah. And so for me, it's like, I guess that's the difference between like a food critic and something that I do. For me, I take in everything. It's the environment, it's who's doing it, and it's why. So it's not just like this is the food and it tastes good. No, it's about, what we always say is, the tacos taste better when you know the story.
Yes, I think that's true of all food.
Yeah, totally.
I know that's I'm African American and grew up in the South and with Southern cooking. I didn't even know a house wasn't supposed to smell like fried grease all the time until I was like 16. I thought everybody's house.
I know, right?
Man, my mom fried everything. Oh my goodness, we're different now, but yeah, there is a lot too that I'm thinking about grandmothers and great grandmothers, and yeah, you're just bringing some really warm memories to mind. You mentioned immigrants and small business owners, and this is kind of off the cuff, but is there any story, the behind the food story that kind of resonated with you or impacted you that you can share?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, the crazy thing that as I travel, not only in Texas but across in the United States, and talking to people, you kind of hear like the reality of what they go through. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so for example, like in Austin, Veracruz All Natural is they started with a taco truck. Technically they started with like it was kind of like a juice and fruit stand, and then they added tacos and tortas, and they were these two waitresses that worked at another restaurant, and they're both from Veracruz, Mexico. And so they wanted to introduce their style of food and through that, and they hit it off like pretty quickly, to be honest. But a lot of people don't know is that they didn't pay themselves for the first 3 years.
Oh, 3 years? Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
So they were still working, I guess, at the other
yeah. They didn't pay themselves for that business for the first 3 years. Everything went back to the business. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so it's like stories like that, or I was up in Kentucky talking to some folks out there, and they came to Lexington for obviously for work. A lot of what drives immigrants to certain parts of the United States is work and relationships.
Right.
So a lot of the Mexicans and I would say Mexican and Central Americans as well, is when they were close to obviously horse racing, you're in Kentucky, right? And so they were there to work the stables. Anyway, so these taco owners, taqueria owners, they wanted to start their own taco shop, and then people wouldn't rent to them. People wouldn't rent to them. Yeah.
Discrimination.
Said, no. Discrimination, exactly. Huh. And then 20 years later, they're owners of that building.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah. That just gave me chills. I love hearing stories like that. Just perseverance, right? And not letting that turn you away.
Exactly. It is that perseverance, It's it's everything from, those kind of things, but also what's the reality of where people live. And sometimes they do, taco trucks, they end up being in the barrios, or some of it has to do, the reality is there are some high crime areas, say for example in Austin, in the Rumberg area. There's a lot of poverty there, but it's so multicultural, in that area. There's like, I think in the middle school, there's like 16 languages spoken, and so you do hear about some violence that has been happening, but then through robberies of taco trucks and things like that, and that's just recently. But when you talk to folks, they're there to really embody the American dream.
Right.
And what you said before, it is perseverance.
Right.
And they do it at pretty much every day, and they're here to serve you. And you go support small businesses, and they
Absolutely.
have pretty tasty tacos.
Pretty tasty tacos. I like that, and I'll look for Veracruz on my next trip. I come to Austin every other month or so. So thanks for sharing that, and people can learn more, on your sites that we'll share shortly. But it's amazing just how hard people, have worked to build things from nothing. And we just cannot take that for granted as being part of the American story for everyone. We hear so much about people want to hand out this and that, but most of the people I know just want a fair shake, an opportunity, somebody to open a door just like they would for anybody else when they've knocked on it. And so I'm glad you're bringing those stories to light. Very, very moving. Were you surprised by, clearly you met a variety of people as you've gone around the country highlighting their taco stories. Were you surprised by the variety of recipes and techniques you found at these places?
I would say yes and no.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of places that are doing very traditional style of Mexican food, for example.
Okay.
But it's also, what surprised me is, how people are doing it with the least amount of resources. You know what I mean? But they're also being like creative and doing new things with it. Whether it's using non-GMO corn. Yeah. Not doing the corn tortillas out of the maseca, which is.
Is that because of gluten or?
Yeah, no, it's basically so the switch between corn that is actually treated with pesticides and the organic. Okay. You know what I mean? So they're kind of opening their eyes around kind of some of those issues and really trying to provide high quality, products. But then again, I do see like some amazing taco shops and owners that are doing certain things that, like when you go to, like, it's kind of funny because when you go to a Tex-Mex restaurant, like the menu could be like 20 pages and you're like, oh my God, what am I gonna get? But then there's the ones that really focus on like their craft and their very specific type and style of taco. Like, say for example, birria. It's super, it's so hot right now, birria.
Yes.
So it's like it's stewed meat, and then there's traditionally it was a soup, and but now they made it into tacos, and you dip your tacos into the consommé, into the soup. It's good, right? So then there's places that's all they do. We just do birria. Other places, we only do carnitas or what have you. But then you do have chefs that are like, they do, they sous vide some pork. I mean, I had some, I mentioned Kentucky earlier. We were out there, and I had some carnitas, some bourbon carnitas. And man, that was,
you lit up on that one, just the memory.
Whole nother level.
And they're doing that with drinks, with bandages, with everything. It's like something open. We had the same little pink bandages, the same tacos, the same everything. Hummus was the same forever. And then, alcohol. Yeah. We can do flavors. We can do colors. We can do, I love it. Wow. You've got a lot of experience with different people and doing really exciting things in this space. And you have taken that knowledge and written 3 great books. You've got a podcast on NPR, as I mentioned. Your work has been featured in national publications. Are you surprised? I mean, this started with you being nice and making recommendations of taco joints to people, and now you're the man. You're the only taco journalist I know, and so that's enough.
There you go.
That's award-winning right there, as far as I'm concerned. Right? Seriously,
hey,
though,
well,
the reaction.
Well, like if you don't see yourself out there reflected, you have to create your own. And then what you do is you create your own titles. So that's why I'm the taco journalist.
Well, it's a great title. And titles should tell you what you do and who you are, and be SEO Google friendly. So you did it all right there. You did the thing. And then you tell us about the book. So you got 3 books. I don't think I got into that.
Yeah. So obviously before I did all this, I started as a blogger back when people blogged.
I remember.
Over 15 years ago, way before Yelp. And so we got approached to do a book. A buddy of mine, we were, because Austin, when people come to Austin, they love to come eat tacos. Breakfast tacos is such a big thing in Texas. So we were like, all right, well, let's do a book. We were offered to do a book with a small independent publisher. And so we wrote the first one. It's called Austin Breakfast Tacos. The story of the most important taco of the day, because it's the first one that you have. And so, but from the beginning, we wanted to make sure that it wasn't just like, oh, I'm just going to tell you about tacos and review them and what have you. For us, when we're sharing tacos, when we're sharing food, we're building community, we're sharing stories. So it has to be about the community. So a lot of my books have really been focused on that community aspect. Like, so you'll see in my books where we actually have Q&As with just different people from the community that, what's their fondest experience or memories about growing up with tacos. And you have people that were new to Texas that shared their story. Then you have, folks that are part of the culture. And, I talked to some elders and they were like, oh yeah, when I grew up in the 50s, we were criticized or shamed in eating tacos because we couldn't afford white bread. And so it's soup. Yeah. So it's super interesting to understand, the food as a way to tell the stories.
Sure.
And so with Austin, so we did Austin Breakfast Tacos. The next one was the Tacos of Texas. So that's an exploration of 10 cities across Texas and the different styles. So there's different varieties and styles that you can see across Texas. If you go to Brownsville, there's some great street tacos there, and barbacoa.
Yes.
San Antonio has amazing breakfast tacos and puffy tacos as well. What I mean?
It's all good. There's a spot near me and I was so accustomed to having all this stuff on my tacos, but they do street tacos with the best organic chicken. It's a little small corn tortilla and some cilantro and onion, and that's it. And it is mouth-watering delicious. I don't need cheese. I don't need a whole bunch of sauce, sour cream, all of that, because it's like, when my dad would grill steaks, they were so good. You need to put A1 and Heinz on them. Just savor it, because it was well made. And I have learned that with Mexican food, with Latin food, that I don't need to go dumping a bunch of stuff on it, because the flavor is just magnificent if you just savor it. I'm excited. Now I'm hungry. I'm gonna have to go eat after we do this. So the books are doing well. They're available on Amazon, and we'll drop those in the show notes. Drop a link to those. You've got a children's book as well. And
yeah, that one just came out roughly like a month ago or something like that.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So it's called Vitamina T for Tacos, and it's a book in Spanglish, and it's basically like the ABCs. We wanted to bring in, obviously, introduce the food and the culture as part of this early education for the kids. Got to start them young,
Yes, we do.
But,
we have to start.
But in a way that they see themselves as part of that story. You know what I mean?
I do.
And so part of that is like really looking at, some of the illustrations that we use that have, children that grew up, you could see that they grew up with the taco, eating tacos, the properly way to eat the tacos, tilt the head, not the taco.
Which I just learned from you not long ago. And I noticed on your pictures, you always do that. So thank you for helping us get our etiquette correct.
Taco etiquette, there you go.
My etiquette, taco etiquette. And then as part of your multimedia enterprise, you have an online TV series on YouTube called Identity. And the videos that I've watched so far have been really incredible. Tell us about the series.
Yeah. Well, what we wanted to do, my partner and I, Dennis Burnett, we've always collaborated on our shows. We did shows with PBS, with Tacos of Texas. We have United Tacos of America on cable and Roku now, and so and YouTube as well. And so what we wanted to do is, I've been afforded the luxury of writing and producing and being in front of the camera and really showing like, hey, because representation matters.
Yes.
And so with Identity, it's a production company, it's a network that we're building to really show kind of that accurate picture of America and really focus on people of color, on BIPOC experiences, diverse recipes. And so we did that in our first couple of shows. We did with a couple of women, amazing women, one's from Houston and one is from Corpus Christi, Texas. And one of them is called Tex-Mex Queen. So it's basically like a cooking show. And we show you kind of the basics of Tex-Mex cooking, whether it's taco night or enchiladas or breakfast tacos, and we include recipes with it. They're all the videos are roughly around under 10 minutes, and then the other one is with Isabel out of Houston, and her show is called Ate, which means big sister in Filipino. And for us, we wanted to find ways to make Asian recipes more accessible, but also with a fun twist on like hacks and cheats.
Right.
And so Isabel, she grew up in A-Leaf, which is a big section of Houston that's really focused on the different Asian communities. And so whether it's spring rolls to better than takeout, General Tso's chicken to
one of my favorites. I cooked a lot. I have 2 men now and grandkids, so I cooked a lot. So I'm about cooked out. I'm down to Instapot and fast, quick recipes. So what I've seen on your show, and I've subscribed as well, is that they have, ingredients that I would have anyway around the house. And it's something quick because I don't have all day and I don't want to go pay a whole bunch of money for something I'm going to use a pinch of one time. Exactly. So I appreciate that. And it's some great recipes, and we'll, give them all this information so they can check it out and have some variety for your family. We get a little bored with eating the same baked chicken all the time, right?
Yeah. And it's fun, and it's, it sparks curiosity around also other cultures, and it's fun. And our 2 hosts are amazing. And I think they make this kind of cooking super easy and accessible.
Yes, absolutely. And that's from someone who doesn't cook much, y'all. I'm agreeing with them. So, when we met, I was doing Austin Black Newcomers, you were doing your collective. We were both out in the community. So words like culture, social justice, diversity, and inclusive. This was several years ago. We were doing this and trying to build collaborations between the communities. And I see it still in everything I read about you. So thank you for not losing that sense of purpose as you, reached out to the larger community. But as we look at the world today, so much divisiveness, what are the benefits of promoting diversity and inclusiveness now?
Yeah, well, I think we the last couple of years have been, there's been a lot of changes, and it's been hard, and there's been a lot of hard realities and having hard conversations, some hard truths out there. But I think part of it is it's a natural thing to do, to open your door, make your table longer, invite somebody, to try something new, eat with them, sit down with them, and I think that's at the core, that's how I feel diversity, equity, and inclusion comes in. It's about understanding each other and culture. It's not like, me taking your piece of the pie. Right. It's about making the pie bigger. You know what I mean?
Yes. The table bigger, the pie bigger. There's room for everyone. And I tell people, eat lunch with strangers. When I'm doing corporate workshops, you get with your little cliques or you eat at your desk. That's a really great way to start. And just, sitting by someone at a meeting does not make you their friend. When, I saw a statistic recently that 60 to 70% of Americans do not have a real friend of another ethnicity. Yeah. And, just liking stuff on Facebook, if you don't know their kids vaguely, don't know anything about them. We haven't really done Super Bowl parties, birthday parties. That's your friend, not just the Facebook thing. It's really, really important. I don't think we'd have some of the confusion we have now if we didn't have that 60 to 70% number, and now we're kind of withdrawing into our tribe. So let's both keep promoting the diversity and inclusion, but you're doing it in a really big, powerful way. And I'm so proud of you.
Food always brings people together.
You're right about that. You are right about that. So I can't end this episode. We've talked about all the different things you're doing and doing well too. No mediocrity there. I can't end this episode without asking you to just briefly share how you maintain life-work balance. You talked about your powered naps, but are there any other strategies that you use with that demanding schedule?
Yeah, it's I'm an extrovert, so I
Wouldn't have guessed that.
Surprise, I know, right? Well, and I get my cup fills up when I connect with other people. You know what I mean? Yes. And so, or I enjoy the quality time with my family, with my wife and my kids. And so with my chickens, so for me, it's like, that's what kind of keeps me going, and it's like, really if you ask me to commit to something, I am there for you 200%. And so, so I'm all about the family life and making sure the kids have, some great experiences. We all kind of grow together. I love to have people over and cook all the time. Not so much these days because of COVID and all that stuff, but I'm all about that. And that's really kind of what kind of gets me through is I'm I like to treat people.
Right.
So I think that definitely, it's kind of nuts that I'm like, I do live a high impact, busy life, but what I get out of it is where people can come and connect and enjoy each other.
Wow. That's a tweet right there. That's nice. That's nice. So tell everyone how to contact you. If you've got some projects coming up, promote that, but how to contact and connect with you if they want to know more.
Yeah, definitely. You can look me up at identity.productions. So it's www.identity.productions. You can see our shows there. You can reach out to me on Instagram, whether it's my personal one, Armando Rayo, or through the tacos, United Tacos of America. Download our podcast. It's called Tacos of Texas, and it's part of KUT, Austin's NPR station. And reach out. I'm always looking to, collaborate and find a new story and, find creative ways to explore culture.
Beautiful. And I can speak from experience that you are legitimately reliable and collaborative in the very best way. It's been a great pleasure having you on this episode, Mando, and I wish you continued success.
Thank you. Thank you. Same to you.
Thanks.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to Perpetual Motion with Dr. Mo Anderson. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the podcast in my YouTube channel and visit my website at drmoanderson.com for more about my books and workshops or to schedule me as a speaker for your next event. Until next time, renew, review, and renew. Thank you.